It was stopped here and I was like, oh no. It's thick sharp. This was the 90mm lens. I also like the colors that come out. So guys, today's video is about my comparison about the M2 and the M11. It's a little bit funny maybe, but I think in the end it makes sense because I was looking for something like that before I bought my 11. And let's start straight away with the haptics. And this was a big one, even that sounds funny to me, if to you maybe. But the haptics of the M2 are wonderful. The sounds are wonderful. Like if you, let me see if it's gonna focus there. Yeah, there it is. Or just the click sounds here. I really like that. Like also the turning the wheel here. You heard all this. So this was a big plus point for the M2. And now with the M11, I have this towel on there. I really like it. I will show it in a short video what it does. It's really nice. Again, everything I use here, I'll gonna link down below again. I bought everything by myself, like always. Also, I covered the M11 with, is it focusing? Yeah, with a custom skin. There is another video where I covered that. I will link it in the corner up there. So the 11, I remember when first picking it up, I didn't turn it on, I just pressed the shutter button, right? And just this clicky sound from the shutter button, this was like a micro switch, and I was used to have like on my Canons like this magnetic thingy on it. I was not sure, but now when I'm shooting with it, so this shutter sound is very satisfying as well. I hope you can hear that. I really like it. It's very quiet and it's very, very satisfying. It's a very satisfying sound. There is no bottom plate anymore. Let me show you. So I just have the battery in here. A lot of people are missing that, but I don't mind. I can change everything pretty quickly. Can change the battery quickly. And yeah, here we have, and there's the bottom plate. It makes sense for film, but I think it's great that I have now no bottom plate, can change the battery pretty quickly and have even USB-C for charging it. So I'm quite happy with the solution. Yeah, there's sometimes I'm pressing the shutter button and just hear or feel the clicky sound from the micro switch, and this is when the hybrid shutter kicks in, so like when the electronic shutter on the day kicks in. So this camera is great for shooting in daylight with open aperture. Like when I shoot at f1.4 in bright sunlight, it goes automatically down to ISO 64, and then the electronic shutter kicks in with, I don't know how far it goes now, like a 15,000th of a second or something. It's really nice. As always, electronic shutter will be a problem with rolling shutter and with funny light in the evening, but during the day I got some great results. I'm gonna show you an image right here of flowers I took wide open. It's really nice. And with that, of course, the M11 is more versatile than the M2, but there is more to that. So the M2 is ready to shoot immediately, right? With the M2, I measure my exposure, and with the exposure, I'm usually on the day good for the next hour because nothing changed, and I just can raise it and shoot very, very quickly. The M11, on the other hand, it's now off. Listen to it, how long it takes. I turn it on now. And now it's ready. So when it comes back from the standby, takes pretty the same time. So what I do, I'll just click the button all the time. If I know I need to shoot, so I'll just half press it. So it's ready all the way, and so you don't miss any shot. But if you're walking and it's on standby and you want to shoot very quickly, you're out of luck. Yeah, battery-wise, as said, the M2 doesn't need a battery. The M11 has a battery, but that was never an issue. The way I shoot, my battery, I shoot every day now, so I walk the same ways with the M2 and with the M11, so I can get a similar experience, what it's like to shoot with the different cameras. And for the walks I do and for shooting on the street in Vienna, I would say with one battery it lasts for me 2 or 3 days, easily. So this is the third day or fourth day and I still have 30% battery left. Maybe if you shoot an event it's differently, but I have 3 batteries you can USB charge. I'm not sure if you can really run out of the battery. It has also internal storage, what I really like, so I shoot simultaneously on both, so I don't lose anything. That's also something that was important for me compared to the other cameras. But the M11 has something happening that makes you slow down even more than the M2, and that is the resolution. I know you don't have to shoot all the time at 60 megapixels, but sometimes if you have 60 megapixels, you want to use it, right? You can turn it down to 30 or to 18, and for street, maybe 18 makes sense sometimes. But if you want to shoot at 60 megapixels and you want to pixel peep and get everything sharp, maybe for a huge print or something, and then you have to take care about how you shoot so it gets really sharp, because 60 megapixels are tough to use, so to say. Why is that? For example, if you have like a 35mm lens, there's a rule that you say, okay, I need at least shoot with a 1/35th of a second to not shake the camera, to avoid camera shake. And with 60 megapixels, this is different. Leica itself tells you to use 4 times of the shutter speed, and it's also an option in the menu where you set it in auto ISO, and it sets itself for an option to use 4 times of the focal length, and it makes totally sense. Focusing is really difficult with the M11 if you want to use the full 60 megapixels. Because if you pixel peep, I know not everybody does it, but as said, if you want to use the 60 megapixels, it's a different story. I'll just, for example, I'll show you 3 images, right? So it's the first image of a sheep. I shoot it pretty wide open with a 35mm 1.4, or maybe it was the 50mm 1.4, I'm not sure anymore. And I focused, shot it. I often don't look at the camera, at the display, because I have this laser thing on the back and I want to use it like an analog camera. So I shot it, and then I looked at it at home. This is the image, and it looks sharp, right? If you go to 100% as on the display on the Mac, it looks sharp, right? But if you enlarge it to the pixel size, you see I'm far away from being sharp. Okay, let's see, you just use it for 18 megapixel, it's gonna be okay for every print. Let's have a look at the second image. So this looks pretty sharp, right? So I zoom in, it's still sharp. Now I zoom in on 300% and it still looks pretty sharp. There's like a tiny little bit, but I wouldn't mind. I think it's really sharp. But you see now what I want to show you, right? And here is the third image. I captured a flower in my mom's garden and I nailed the focus, right? So 100% looks at that. And now let's go to 300 or 400% and look at it. It's tick sharp. This was the 90mm lens at 2.8. It's really hard to focus with the lens if you want to go for this full 60 megapixels. But if you nail it, you hear the angel sings. Like all the old Leica lenses, they have their character, but I think they can show the full potential of the M11 because they are all tick sharp. So like, let me show you what I mean with tick sharp. Here is a shot on the M11 with the Elmarit 21mm. And it's sharp from corner to corner. And this lens is, I think, 40 years old. So you don't really need to have the latest lenses to get the full resolution on the M11. I'm gonna show you some other shots I did with the 35 and the 50 here, where you can see that even if you zoom in on 300%, it's tick sharp. So these lenses are made, they're quality lenses, they're really, really nice, even on a digital camera with 60 megapixels. There's one more thing, zone focus. If you are for the 60 megapixel hunt again, zone focus, the scale you have on your lenses, they will not work for you. Let me show you why. I think this is an image I shot with the 28 or with the 21 Elmarit or with the 35 Summilux. I think it was a Summer. I'm not sure anymore. It doesn't matter. I shot it at a very small aperture. I think it was f8 or f16, and it showed me on the scale that everything is gonna be sharp. So everything is gonna be in focus from like 1 meter to infinity. And let's look at the image. It looks sharp, right? So let's pixel peep a little bit more into the image, and you see it's sharp close up to me, but if you look at the trees there in the back, it's not that sharp anymore, right? And this is the burden you have with 60 megapixels. If I would have shot that with my M2 with an ASA 100 film or 400 film, everything would look sharp because you don't have this big resolution. I know it's an unfair comparison, but it's with everything. If I can shoot with my M2 at night with ISO 400 at 1.4 and I show you 2 images, I mean, like they are a little bit grainy, but they look good, you know. And I don't know, maybe I have to learn that, but if I shoot it with the M11, I'll zoom in, I think, I could have maybe managed the focus a little bit better. And that's the reason I'm start to shoot the M11 also at 30 megapixels or less. Because sometimes you don't need the 60 megapixels and then it's more fun to shoot because you have more success with it. Talking about success, after 2 or 3 weeks now, I'm getting really good with focusing with the M11. And here's another shot I want to show you. That was I used the 35mm 1.4 Summilux and I was walking. The M11 was not in standby. I used it like I told you. I clicked the button in between and I saw this dog and the bike in front of me, and I just raised my camera. I nailed the focus, pressed the shutter button. The M11 did its magic with auto ISO and auto shutter speed because I still had it on it and I didn't go for the manual thing. And I nailed the shot. It was ISO 10,000. I even pushed it up 1 stop to make it a little bit brighter. And I don't mind grain, and it looks really, really nice. I just captured the expression of the dog. That was something I just liked. I thought it looked funny when the lady was pushing the bike with the dog. And I'm not sure if I could have done that with the M2 because it was really dark. Like I said, 10,000 and I pushed it another stop, so it would be like 20,000 ISO. Maybe I could have done it, but I guess there is no chance that you would have seen much of the dog. And here we come to the next thing why I like to use the 60 megapixels sometimes. So I did some street in Vienna, as you have seen my images before, and I took pretty quickly this image and I thought it looks quite nice with the 21mm, and then I thought the composition could be better, and with 60 megapixels I just could crop in, no issue. This is nice to have. This is nothing. I crop in on my M2 as well. So like some of the images you saw, they are cropped in a little bit, but just a little bit, not that much what I can do with the M11. What I forgot, shooting at night. If you use auto speed, because then it always will do 4 times the speed as of the focal length, and then you're easy in the ISO 20,000 or 50,000 range because of that. So I always set the speed at night at like a 30 or a 60 of a second for 35mm lens, because anyway this little camera shake will not be visible if you shoot ISO 1600 or 3200, because there's a little bit grain. And then you can pixel peep and you will not see it. So you're gonna get 3 or 4 stops better quality of ISO, if that makes sense. And there is the next elephant in the room. So why buying a Leica M11 if I have like a 5D Mark IV or Mark III, or the camera I'm capturing here, the Canon M50. It has a crop sensor, but it's also small. And I always have the idea that like I'm maybe it's a stupid comparison, but I have the idea I'm carrying a little computer that does everything for me. And for sure, the processor of the M11 is also like a great computer, but it doesn't feel like it. I'm looking through the rangefinder and it doesn't show me the real thing. A lot of people would not like that. But the M11 gave me the closest thing to shoot and feel like it's a film camera compared to other digital cameras. And if you have watched my other video, how I came to my M2, you will understand that I've showed you there that I used Hasselblads and I used like the new Fuji medium format cameras before I was interested in Leicas. And they are all great cameras. I enjoyed them a lot, but they didn't give me this analog haptic feeling. So that was something the digital Leica and the M2 gave me. That's really a reason I was interested in the M11 from the beginning with. And I got a good deal from a friend. That was the reason I went for an M11, not an M10. Yeah, and I also like the colors that come out from the M11. I am very pleased with them, so I don't do much post-processing on the cameras. But what I do sometimes is, if I shoot like, here's a picture, a shot of a phone booth, right? And look at it, if you zoom in 100%, it's so clean. The images of the M11 can be so sterically clean that sometimes I use silver effects to add grain to the images. So it looks more natural for me. Sometimes I like the cleanness if I zoom in, but to get really clean images, it's just like I'm just talking against me when I talked about pixel peeping before, but it feels more natural for me to have a grainy black and white image, and it has more character. So that's the reason I shoot or I add grain sometimes to these images. Yeah, and here's another thing that happened lately when I was shooting film. I'm used to have always 36 exposures, and I wanted to try the Kodak Gold 200, and I just got a roll of film in a supermarket. I put it in the camera and shot, and then I saw this really nice scene I wanted to capture. And I was like, on the 24th or 25th frame, maybe 26th, I said, I have 10 more frames. And I was really excited to shoot it. And I was like cranking this one here, right? I was cranking this and it was stopped here. And I was like, oh no, maybe the film got jammed or something. And I couldn't take the image. So I had only the M2 with me. So I'm normally alternating the M2 and the M11 for every day. And then when I got the film out, I looked at it, I was like, oh, I didn't look. It's like only with 25 frames. So this is something that's not going to happen with the M11. And even if you forget your memory card, you have the internal memory. Yeah, I know it's my fault, but yeah, I should have looked at it, but I didn't, right? So that is something where the M11 is maybe as an advantage. Maybe a stupid comparison, but you know what I mean. The rangefinder frame lines of the M11 have an automatic brightness adjustment. So if you look into bright sunlight, it gets brighter. And if you look in a dark scene, so it gets less bright. So it's the same with the M2 because it's the optical solutions. I'm aware of that. So it's even better because it doesn't use battery, but if it's really dark, you won't see it, right? Yeah, there's one more thing. That's, of course, an M11 thing. That's the Leica app on your phone or tablet. I wouldn't think that I will use it a lot. A friend of mine told me that he really likes it. And now I know why, because first of all, when I got the M11, I connected them together, and now the M11 is using my iPhone for tagging the images with the GPS data. And I don't have to connect it every time, they do it somehow by themselves. Yeah, as soon as the iPhone is in my bag, the M11 will just use the GPS data from the iPhone, and you don't have to connect anything, it just goes by itself. And you can shoot remotely, like you can use the iPhone as a display for the M11 or as a remote shutter for the M11. And image transfer is also very nice if you just want to send somebody images as you go. So as said, mostly I don't use that feature that much because I have my leather cover on the display and I enjoy to watch the images then at home. But it's really good that this app is very reliable and it's working really well compared to the Canon apps I have. They are also good, but this is another level. It just works. I turn it on. It's like it's made for the iPhone. It's just working, you know. That's Leica, you did a really, really good job for that. On that, it works perfectly. I'm super happy with that. There is one more thing on the 11 that's maybe interesting for people who want to use the M11 directly to shoot into Lightroom. So it has, since a recent firmware update, you can do tethered shooting into Lightroom. I thought maybe I'm gonna use that on a portrait shoot sometimes because I do business portraits. So this is a good feature. But if you get in troubles because it's not working, turn off the USB-C charging. I wrote an email to Leica why it was not working. And I didn't hear back, so I tried it 2 times, not sure what was happening. And then I figured it out by myself. So why I'm talking about tethered shooting with the M11? Because in a future video, I will use the M11 for scanning negatives. You saw my setup for scanning negatives already. And I used my Canon 5D Mark IV before it, but now I want to shoot with the M11. And I think it's going to be interesting. So what is my verdict at the end? Yeah, in lots of cases, I still think the M2 is the faster camera and the haptics and the sounds is really nice. It's more rugged, I would say, even. I know it's hard to compare these two, but the M11 is more versatile for sure. It's easier to shoot at total darkness. It's easier to shoot in total brightness, in the sunny day with the open aperture. But I think the combination of both is great for me to shoot because I still think the M2 is the faster camera, if it makes sense. If you are scared that, or if you are thinking about getting like an M10 or M11 and think maybe your lenses will not be good enough for the digital ones, they're really good. You've seen my examples before. Yeah, there's some more stuff at the end. I also figured out how to use the M11 with Canon speedlights. So this is going to be maybe interesting for you guys who have existing speedlights, maybe not Canon, maybe other ones. I think this solution will work with other speedlights. I tried that. Maybe I want to try it on the street sometimes, and I have a wireless solution now that's really cheap. Upcoming videos will be about my purchase. I bought the AGO film processor, so this will be exciting to develop my own black and white and color film. In combination with the M2, I'm gonna be much faster. I'm looking forward to that. And because you guys asked me in the comments, I will show my scanning setup. I'll use it already with the 5D Mark IV, but now I'm gonna use it with the M11 and an adapter. Adapter is on the way. And here is a box you're gonna like a lot. I got a box of lenses. They are like old Maya Görlitz Primo Plan lenses in there, and I'm gonna use it on the M11 and will show you how they perform. I'm not gonna use it on the M2 because I'm not gonna be able to focus wide open with it. If you're interested in these videos, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you get notified. It's gonna be exciting and nice. Yeah, I'm just shot a portrait and on wet plate as well, so I'll just have to figure something out and I will hopefully be able to share that. So I'm not abounding web plate, that's my passion. But it's nice to have something beside that makes me even more passionate about photography. So yeah, and I also made a new Instagram account that's called Full Photography Circle. I will post there my daily life and street pictures. The portraits will remain on the MH Austria as well. And I'm thinking to build also a small website where I really share everything I shoot with these two cameras. On Instagram is always the best photo of the day, of the week. But there I want to share everything. And so it's like a diary of my photo walks. So I'm not sure if anybody's interested in that, but I'm gonna share it underneath as soon as it's finished. Yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. It's a long video, but I hope it was helpful for you guys. And as always, I'll be back, guys.